Bob writes about it. Jim talks about it. But Chuck did something about it.
Foreman on a big hole across the 10. He's something else. He's out in touchdown land. He's something else, baby.
Now, here's longtime columnist Bob Sansevere, Fox 9's Jim Rich, and the great number 44,
Double 4.
Chuck Foreman.
Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, another Vikings legend, the superstar Mike Morris, a legend in the window business, Tyler Ganz, owner of the window store, which brings you today's show. I'm Bob Sansevere, and I got to start off by asking all of you this question. What does this mean? Do you think this means that you've got the next GOAT as the Vikings quarterback? The GOAT, Tom Brady, said J.J. McCarthy has one of the best arms I've ever seen, and I've spoken to him a few times about his mindset, and it's like talking to myself. That's pretty high praise.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Wow.
Especially since he came from Michigan.
Yeah, they're both Michigan guys.
That's a Michigan saying something about a Michigan.
That's what I was going to say, too. Same thing.
All right, good point. But the fact that he didn't have to say it,
No.
and he did. It's good praise.
But it's also pressure.
Yeah, but he better be able to handle the pressure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pressure's on him now.
And by the way, did you see he was down for an NFLPA event in Mexico where they had a golf tournament, and one of the interviewers asked him about being the first string quarterback, and he said, they haven't told me that.
It's Kay Adams.
Okay, it was from Up and Adams?
Yep.
Okay.
That was a good answer.
Yeah.
They haven't told me yet?
Yes, yeah.
It'd be nice if they'd let him know what the
but
plan
the thing
is.
I think it makes him come in and work harder.
I don't
No question. You don't tell a kid that right off the bat. I don't think.
see. I think he knows
I don't think so.
Well, the end of that statement was what JJ said was, and I like it because I come in every day. I'm going to fight for this because I want to earn it. If you finish what he said,
That's it.
that's what he said.
I think that's what they want him to do, too. I mean, I really think that they want him to rise.
I hope he
People to
comes
cry.
in here and becomes another Jalen.
Yeah.
What?
Not Jalen Hurts, Jaden
Oh,
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
yeah.
Excuse me, Jaden
For sure.
Daniels. I'm sorry.
I'm
I
telling
hope
you.
he does.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that would be
be
a good
great.
blend right there.
I'd take it Tom Brady. That'd be fine,
I'll take that one, too. I mean, if that's what it comes down to, I'll take the Tom Brady one.
And I got a question because I asked who was I talking to? Kevin Cusick from the Pioneer Press. I asked him this question. I want to hear all of you. Any quarterback could have been a quarterback in the Super Bowl, won the quarterback. If you had one game that you had to win, would it be Tom Brady? For me, I'd want Joe Montana. If I could pick one guy for one game to win, it would be Montana and not Brady. Not that I'm not. It's not against Brady, but I bet a lot of people think that some people probably think Joe Montana had Jerry Rice for all 4 Super Bowl wins. He didn't. I thought he had him for 3. He only had him for 2 of the 4 Super Bowls that Montana won were with Jerry Rice on his side. So, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Montana's. And if Brady's number 1, is no question that, to me, Montana's 2. But are you guys thinking of anyone else?
No.
I would say that, before Tom Brady came into his own, I thought Joe Montana, for sure. And then I thought...
Oh, but there's no question, Joe's never going to be second. You might be as good.
Yeah.
But nobody's ever going to be better than Joe. Well, I don't want to say
the
ever,
big games, Tom Brady has 7 wins in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I really do think your money should be on Brady. I just think,
Yeah.
But there's another quarterback that no one will ever talk about, but they won 4 Super Bowls with him, basically the same team, no replacement players at all, would be the Steelers with Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
He's got 4 rings.
Yeah,
All in
but
the
wait a
70s.
minute, hold up.
I mean, he wasn't that
I
great,
thought
but I mean,
Terry Bradshaw was
he
a
won the
good
game for you.
quarterback, but he had that Steeler defense is what won
Oh,
for them.
I totally agree.
All right,
But
and they had
there
Franco.
was, John,
No. I'm not putting him anywhere near that.
Franco. Would you like Franco?
Yeah, I like Franco. We used to run out of bounds all the time.
Hey, we've got the old school perspective here. From the new
Okay.
school side, I would
Now-
say that Patrick Mahomes. for his creativity, how he can get out of the jam, the way he makes up plays on the whim. From my side of things, the game has changed from your days to now. And I think Patrick
Did you
Mahomes
not see the Super Bowl this year?
Hey, I'm telling you, you asked me athletic ability to quarterback, would you take it one game?
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you about all that. All these guys will be talking about. You watched the Super Bowl, right? You watched your boy Patrick Mahomes.
I did.
What happened to him?
Well, you had a rough game.
Yeah. His offensive line didn't do crap.
Yeah.
All right. So no matter who we talk about up here, if you don't have offensive line, you got nothing. If you don't have
The
a defensive line,
the one
you
guy
have
you take
nothing.
in one game. The one guy you take in one game.
Well,
I'm taking Mahomes for mobility, decision making.
Okay.
With his drive.
You wouldn't be. Not a lot of people would consider you wrong or way off with that.
No,
choice.
not at all.
That's a
I
good
wouldn't go
choice.
against Patrick Mahomes either, but you just mentioned two people.
Now, if you said Trent Dilfer, we may be raising a few eyebrows on something like
you
that.
just talked about
Warren Moon.
Yeah. You talked about Brady and Montana. We didn't even say anything about Mahomes. He's only what, 29, 30?
Yeah. And how 5 Super Bowls already?
He's already
played in 5.
Right. So he's not even ready to be.
All right, if you could do it, and you can't, but if you could have put Brady, Montana, Bradshaw on your Viking teams, do you win 3 Super Bowls or Super Bowls? Or is that unfair to Fran? That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I know it puts you on the spot a little.
Yeah, it would.
I mean,
But
if you had the reverse quarterback, what would that have been? Stabler, Greasy.
That would have been
and
Bradshaw.
Glenn Dawson.
Yeah.
Well, and then
No, but he was never on that first one.
Yeah, that's true. So it would be
Stabler,
Stabler.
Bradshaw,
Bradshaw
and Greasy.
and Greasy. Yep. But that Miami team was the one coming off the undefeated season the year before.
That was the best team we played.
Yeah,
in the Super Bowl.
and you've always said that, and most people would think it was the Steelers.
No. Those guys were precise. They didn't make any mistakes. They came every play, and they had. I used to go watch them practice too, and they used to be. Shula didn't mess around.
No, he didn't. And they had a great offensive line.
They had great coaches. They had everything in place there.
What were you in your second year when you played them?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because
They were out. Yeah, my second year.
Because you were right.
No, wait, no. That was our first year.
You went your rookie year to the Super Bowl.
Rookie, yeah.
So you obviously knew that team. You used to go
definitely.
watch them when they had the undefeated
Yeah,
season.
and they used to come over and practice at our place every now and then.
And by the way, when you look at that offense, now Greasy, I mean, I don't think he was a great quarterback, but he was a good one. But 3 great running backs.
Yeah.
They could pound you.
Mercury, Jim
Kick.
Kick. Yeah, Jim
Sanka.
Yeah, Jim Kick was my favorite.
Warfield. Howard Twilley.
They had it all.
Norm Evans,
Larry Little.
Bob Kuchenberg.
Kuchenberg, and then the
center was from here.
The center.
From here. From here. I mean,
The center from up there, up north.
Jim Langer.
Jim Langer, yeah.
Hall of Fame.
They were really good.
Now, Mike, did either of you ever talk to Langer much?
I did, yeah.
I've talked to him.
I loved him because he was such an owly, persnickety
Yeah,
guy.
he was a little chippy.
He let you know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
And he spent a year or 2 here, which is amazing to have 2 Hall of Fame centers.
Yeah.
He was Tingelhoff's backup at the end of his career.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That's amazing. Jim Langer was a good center.
Yeah, when you think about that. Now, Tyler, you've been a lifelong Vikings fan, right?
Yes, sir.
So when I say lifelong, how old were you when you first really started watching them? Did you watch? You weren't even born yet. How old are you when you played? Chuck was playing. Were you too young to enjoy it?
1985 is my birth year.
Oh my God, you're a child.
Man, you just
77 was your last.
you just a
Super Bowl.
big baby.
My stepbird. It was.
Big baby.
It was the first or the return of Bud Grant as coach.
Yeah, man.
Well, you have had one hell of a lot of success.
Hey, my grandma, I'll give her credit. My grandma Sharon on my mom's side, she loves the Vikings. Loves them. We started doing this show. I mean, she cried when I sent her a picture of me and Chuck. Like, she loves that I'm here with you guys. But she was the one that taught me how to watch the game every Sunday. We hooting and hollering. That was what got me into the sport. I think solidifying that is the 98 loss.
So you did not become a Vikings fan until you were watching the Mike Morris Vikings,
Correct.
right? Because you would have been
A
like
little,
what?
little before that.
What was your first year, Mike? Was it
91. 91.
Yeah, you would have
No,
been
that would've
6
been.
then. That
Yeah.
would have been when you were watching them.
91 to
My
2000.
first sports memory is the 91 World Series, I think, is kind of when I first started thinking about sports when the Twins won. Went to my mom took me to the parade, had a home run hanky.
And you probably thought, boy, it's going to be like this every year.
And I was just like, Minnesota sports rocks, right? And then we never won again, ever.
Well, it happened. But you know what? You, though, have gone the opposite of the Vikings and the Twins and the Wolves and the Wild, because you have a winning program yourself with the window store, and you have J&J Remodeling. You got a lot going on, and tell the listeners about it and let them know how they can reach out to you if they need any work done.
Yeah, today I wanted to talk a little bit. I mean, the window store does a great job, obviously windows, kitchen refacing, roofing, siding. We have a sister company, one that I have owned for longer than the window store. It's called J&J Remodelers. Now, this J&J Remodelers is an amazing custom high-end remodeling company. So it's for those people that, you're in your forever home. Maybe you've paid it off. You're going to retire. You're not going to downsize, but you're not leaving. So now you want to invest that money back in to make this the craziest, sickest place you ever lived in your life. Bathroom, master suite remodels. We've tore the roof off of houses and put a second story on. Additions out the back. The man cave of your dreams, with the golf simulator in there and all that stuff. We started out with a design and plan, and we get you 3D renderings, and you pick out all your selections. Every single one of my competitors, go ahead and you go ask them. If you go ahead, you pay for that design and plan, you'll ask them, whose plan is it? All of them will say it's theirs. They don't give it to you. You don't get to have it. They don't allow you to go bid out against it. We're the complete opposite. We want to build the relationship. We're going to design and plan it with you. And then when we're done, hopefully we build that relationship. We can go ahead and get the project started. But at the same time, we want you to feel comfortable. It's your plan. It's your 3D renderings. It's your design. It's your dream. We make dreams come true at J&J Remodelers.
Well, let people know how they can get in touch with you or J&J Remodelers and also the window store.
Yeah, the window store is easy. The window store Inc. So is J&J Remodelers. It's just jjremodelers.com.
Easy enough.
Easy peasy.
And we're in a building now where you're putting some new windows in.
Yeah, right now we're putting in the new. So the new hot thing right now is black windows. That's the new hot thing.
So you can't see through them?
No, just the frames with the colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can still see through them. But if you come down here and check out Skull Marketing, they're right on Main Street in Hopkins. Go ahead and look at their brand new black windows. We're putting them in right now. They're sharp. They're classy. They're never going to go out of style. And it can go in a commercial or a residential application.
Terrific. All right, we're going to take a quick break. The JimBob Sports Jamboree with the superstar Mike Morris, the legend Chuck Foreman, and Tyler, you got to go get some more windows and remodeling done, right?
Don't rest for the wicked. I got to go back to work.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and the JimBob Sports Jamboree be right back. Coming to you from the Skull Marketing Studios, the JimBob Sports Jamboree continues with the superstar Mike Morris, the legend Chuck Foreman. I'm Bob Sansevere. We got Brady. Brady is our producer who reminded me to say Skull Marketing Studios, right? He's on top of it. By the way, for his boss, the guy does one heck of a job. He's aces. He deserves every penny plus more. What, am I right? Oh, he's agreed. He's not going to argue with that. All right, now, Mike, here's a couple of things. I want to go to the hardware store, and I want to make sure I got dependable vehicle to do it. So what hardware store, and where do I get that dependable vehicle?
Number one, let's address how you get out there.
All right.
So you're going to need the wheels, so the truck or the car, whatever you want to do, you probably want to pick up the right one, and otherwise it's junk. So pick it up at Dodge of Burnsville, right there in Burnsville, off 35W and Cliff Road. Get in there, say hi to Mark Saba or Adam Saba, his son, and they will help you out there. The red carpet is rolled out, and you're on your way. Out to where? There are 4 locations you could go to, so you could take a long trip to Zumbrota, or you could stay in Farmington, Rosemont, or Eagan, and you could go to Ace Hardware, Polici's Ace Hardware. They have 4 locations, Zumbrota, Farmington, Rosemont, and Eagan, and they are the people. Been in business now for 30-plus years. They'll take good care of you. They've got a lot of different discounts on sale right now with DeWalt tools, power tools. So the way you remember that is power tools, like me, like lifting and all that stuff, and I'm a tool also. So that'd be a good way. You can remember that way. So lifting, just remember the superstar or the power tool said so. You get on down there, and they'll take good care of you. And also Dodge of Burnsville. Don't forget, that'd be the way you get there, Dodge of Burnsville.
All right, now I got to, because I was looking at the shirt. Before we started the show. Where is 8-Man Powerlifting Club?
Phoenix, and it's a charity. It's actually a charity. They pick a different charity each month. And so I back them. They're all power lifters and strongmen, nationally ranked people. So and they're based out of Phoenix.
It's a great name.
It is. It's really good. And they take good care of a lot of people. A lot of people. They raise a lot of money.
I wonder, can you teach an ape to lift weights? Because that'd be fun to see how strong they are.
Look at me.
Well, okay, other than you.
Yeah. Well, no, it'd be. Gosh, they claim that a silverback gorilla is like 12 times stronger than an adult male.
So they probably could not get a plate or a bar, that long enough for to hold the weight that you can put on it.
I've actually seen a gorilla pick up a huge bar that he played with out in the yard that they had in St. Louis when I was with the Cardinals, and I asked the trainers or the zookeepers how much it weighed, and they said 600 pounds.
Oh my God!
And he was tinkering with it. He was tinkering with it, just playing around. I had two great big tires, but they were huge tires and a big axle.
He was spinning it on his finger like a basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he was just horsing around with it. I saw him just chuck it. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I said, "How much is that?" About 600. Over 600. I couldn't believe it. No one's put 600 pounds over their head yet. Human being.
He put it over his head.
He threw it though. He didn't.
Oh my God! Like a shot put.
He just pushed it out and then threw it like 10, 12 feet. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I had to ask the zookeeper how much that was. He said it's over 600.
All right. How older were you when you started lifting? Were you in high school yet?
13.
Okay.
13.
What was bench pressing's a big deal for a lot of weightlifters. Yeah. What was the weight that gave you the most thrill to lift? Was it 300 300 pounds when you're doing bench, or was there another number that you just were more thrilled than any other number?
Well, there are 3 lifts in powerlifting. I competed in powerlifting all the way through high school and college, and even did a couple bigger meets when I was in the pros with the Vikings. But so there's bench, there's deadlift, and there is the squat. And on bench, my best was 555 without a bench shirt, no supportive gear. So at 555, that was fun to break 500 pounds and then go over. And deadlift was 765 without a strap. And my squat was 810 pounds. So those are all sort of landmarks for me.
So, all right, in powerlifting, is there an individual number for each one, and then there's the combined?
Yeah. Yep.
So you could win one class, but also win the overall, too.
Absolutely. You could win any of the 3, the bench separately, or...
You don't even have to win it to have the overall, right?
You have to place in all 3. You have to get it on paper in all 3 to win the overall.
Well, you're probably going to place, but I mean, you don't have to win each of the 3.
No, I mean, if you have the biggest total, they add all 3 lifts together, your best, and you have the total then at that point.
Now, Chuck, you had some incredible records as a running back, but I know state champion hurdler.
Right.
Right. You wrestle too? Did you play?
No.
Basketball.
I played basketball, track.
What was your most satisfying accomplishment away from football? Was it you set the state record in hurdles when you won?
Right. Well, yeah. I did that, but mostly my track coach. His name is Jack Griffin, and he was the head women's Olympic track coach, and he had some great Olympians from my hometown. But I mean, there were guys that were faster, probably than me.
Think about that for a second. It is high school.
Well, just in competition, but he said, you know what, the way you get off, the way you might start was, he says, we're going to tighten up your form, and you're going to beat everybody. And I'm like, yeah, right. And when I first started, I was just hopping over. Next thing you know, I was just skipping over. My tail was just skipping over. And I'm like, I jump out and I look over. They weren't catching me. So
That's amazing.
Form is
hurdles.
Hurdle.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's an amazing.
I think you know Chuck, and Mike, you may.
Right.
We did. My wife and I did foster care, and our first foster daughter. This goes back to the mid '90s. Her senior year, she finally went out for track. She was okay as a sprinter,
right?
But I remember the dates. On May 11th, we took her out to the track to try hurdling. June 10th, she ran to the state finals. She still holds the school record at Orono for
really.
Yep, for the low the low hurdles.
Right.
And she had. I brought it to Blaine. They had the Olympic Training Center there, and I said, "Look, can you help her? Give her any kind of what could she do better?" They watch her, and she said, What can we tell her? Her form is perfect. She had the steps. It was all natural. She had very long legs. The only thing that if she could, or if we can go back in time, I would not have let her go to that graduation party where she bounced off of a trampoline and hurt her leg.
No.
And she actually went in with like a, it was a hamstring that was not like blown, but she wound up still finished like, I think there were 8 in the final. She finished 5th or 6th, what she could have done potentially. And she got, she had scholarship opportunities at D2 schools that wanted her. She had no freaking, no, like out of the blocks, nothing. She just would stand there and go. But it just, she's a phenom.
That's to be able to just hurdle and not have anyone show you how to do it.
That's
do it that well. That's
unbelievable. Yeah,
because
I can remember when I was training back in high school, and I had to come to stay. I was like, man, am I ever getting better at this? And he was he just push. I want this, I want you to tell this skipping over that top hurdle. Well, I think it was. No, it wasn't. And I'd stay out there until one day he says, you got it.
Chuck, there's nothing like it when you see somebody who can skim the hurdles.
Oh, man. It's just like, and then you come over and you just bat, boom.
And this girl, Cassandra was her name.
Yeah.
She had the school record in the 300. And I'm yelling at her because there was nobody near her. She slowed up like 30, 40 yards from the finish. And she still almost broke. She was within a few tenths of a second. Not like seconds, tenths of a second of breaking.
But you broke her concentration.
Well, what was I going to do? Yeah, just lollygag on in.
Yeah, just make it look easy.
Yeah. But anyway, because I like watching track. I love watching hurdles.
I do too. So
the hurdles are just a lot of fun to watch.
It's a great event, man, because it's a lot into that event, man.
It is
a lot of work, boy.
Now, what you were a javelin thrower?
Javelin
shot
put indoors.
But you were one hell of a javelin thrower.
I had to pick it up after high school because it wasn't allowed in high school. They throw.
Oh, you didn't do it in high school.
They throw it in
didn't
high school, only in New Jersey, Kansas.
Yeah, we had it in Jersey,
Florida. Yeah, and so I had to pick it up in college, and I did okay with it.
Well, tell people what you threw.
Well, I threw 275.
It's almost a football field.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The American record was 306, so Tom Petronoff. But I didn't have. I got into the USFL after I got out of college in the spring league, and then I jumped from USFL into the NFL. So didn't go back and pursue javelin.
Pursuing it
didn't pay quite as much.
No, but I mean, you could have been if you worked at it, you could have been an Olympian in the javelin.
I mean, I don't know.
There's age group javelin.
There's what? Oh, yeah.
There's age group. You should try it some.
Absolutely.
Okay, so could you throw a football as far as a javelin?
I can throw it.
Oh, my God.
I can throw it 80.
Was there ever a quarterback you were with who could throw it as far as you? I would doubt it. 80 yards is...
Jeff George.
He could throw it 80 or plus?
Yes, he could.
Yeah, I heard he had a rifle.
I think Elway threw it further than that. I mean, that he had an arm. Randall Cunningham had a good arm. I mean,
Did you ever challenge any of the quarterbacks to throwing?
No. But they didn't challenge me either because they saw me throw to a few people. I mean, Brian Billick came out and he goes, "What?" He came out and saw me throwing to Jeff Christie or someone, and we were just horsing around before a game. And I just threw a football to him, but he was way out there. And Billick walked up and he goes, "What in the hell? Where did you learn to throw a football that far?" I'm like, I threw javelin. I made my arm like that.
I mean, the quarterbacks make great javelin throwers, too.
Terry Bradshaw was a national champion, I think.
He might have been, yeah.
I think he was.
That's another event I like watching. But I'll very quickly, I was done in high school, but I was covering high school track. The state champion was from a school right near where I lived and I went to cover it. His friend, who'd never thrown a javelin, jerking around, hit him in the Achilles.
Yep.
He hit the state champion. The coach wanted to kill him.
Oh, I'll bet.
Because of what he did. He basically ruined his senior year.
Oh, I mean, that's why it's illegal in
many states.
Every high school.
Yeah,
because of that reason.
Because you got to be real careful with those.
No
They
question.
fly out of the field. I mean, the wind picks them.
Oh, it'll take them, yeah.
It'll take them.
But there's nothing when you see the tail fluttering.
Oh, you get that flip out of it.
Yeah.
You hit one really hard. Yeah. And then it picks up. If the wind is coming in, it'll pick it
It'll
up.
go.
It'll go further. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we got to talk about, Chuck and I talked a little off the air about it before the show, about what's happening in college basketball.
Right.
And Mike, I know you have thoughts on that too, so we'll take a quick break. The JimBob Sports Jamboree, be right back. We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree. Jim Rich, by the way, on location with the Twins for the start of their season in St. Louis. The legend, Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morris. One more thing about, because we were talking off the air. Chuck, by the way, I mentioned he was a state champion in not just high hurdles, low hurdles and high hurdles.
Right.
They must have hated when you showed up.
Well, I don't know about that, but like I said, I had a great coach and motivator. Put the time in, too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a race that you can win easily.
All right, I got to tell you a quick story because I ran track in high school. I practiced with the weight guys, and I'd run during the meets because I was too lazy. But I was okay, right? I was like I had a lot. I stuffed the ballot box, but I was, you never know looking at me, but I was MVP of my track team. But we had a race against Lakewood High School. A guy named Charlie Walker, defending state champion in the 220 yards, right? And it was a straightaway. Here's what happened. Boom, the gun goes off. I was in the heat with him. He was putting his sweats on when I crossed the finish line. Imagine how fast this guy was. He actually was there because he had his friend bring his sweats down to him. Either that, he ran back and got him and beat us. The rest of us in the pack, he was just, I mean, he might still hold a 220 because they do meters now.
Yeah.
But for 220 yards. And how embarrassing, though, do you think that was to finish and he's putting his sweats. Already puts in his leg. Hey, it was only one leg, the first leg. He wasn't pulling them up yet, but that was bad. How fast this guy was.
That would be intimidating to have seen him do that and then have him meet again later on down the road.
Oh, there was never a
meeting.
meeting.
This guy puts on his sweats before we get finished with the race.
Yeah.
So we're beat already.
Charlie Wall, I never forget that name. All right. College basketball. You look at the Sweet 16. Big Ten's represented. SEC is represented. Big 12's represented. One team from the ACC, which happens to be Duke.
Right.
No mid-majors.
No. They're not going to. It's going to be a rarity. It was a rarity before, but it's even going to be more one now.
Because they're all leaving in the portal?
Because they're all leaving in the portal. I looked at Kentucky this year. Everybody on their team was new. Everybody else had transferred out to someplace else. I watched, I don't know who it was, but anyway, I saw this one player, he was at Tennessee last year, doing well with them, but he was with, I forgot what team he transferred to. But was it Louisville? I don't know where.
Because they get more money.
They move like wherever the money is, they go. They're gonna have to change that up. It's like, you're recruiting the same guy every year. Because you got somebody's coming in. Hey, I heard so and so will give you this much money.
See, it's a money thing at the college level now.
It is. But what I'm saying, I have a problem with it. But once you sign that NIL deal with the university, you dialed in. You can't move.
That's right.
Until those 4. It's like a contract. Until those 4 years are over.
I'm learning a little bit about this.
Until those 4 years are over, you tied up.
Yeah,
you both could have made money in the NIL if they had NIL because you would have been desired. But Mike, what you do, teams that blew games because their snappers sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have been in big demand.
Maybe so. Maybe. I don't
know. No, you would have
been.
been.
It'd be more toward the running back here, I'm sure. But yeah, they started looking for long snappers.
Look at where it is now. People. I mean, it's not like Mick Tingelhoff when he used to do everything. Yeah. Now they got a center, but then they got a guy that does the long snap.
Yeah, they do. And then, but it's that's a skill, man. It was. It really was. It's easy to show someone how to snap. You can show a lot of people how to snap, but and it's almost like that in games now because you don't get hit after you snap the football, so you don't have to worry about getting smashed right after you let go of it. But it's not hard to long snap. If you can throw a ball overhead, you can probably long snap. But can you do it in a game?
And could you do it
with rain and snow and whatever? The ball is wet and it weighs about 3 pounds heavier, and now you got to loft it a little higher to come in and swing it.
But what you did, you were like a sharpshooter or a dart thrower. You put it exactly where it had to be.
Yeah. The
Every
NFL
time.
standard is 0.78 seconds, so a little under a second from the line of scrimmage, 15 yards back to the punter, and I was snapping 5.5. I mean, 0.55. So
holy cow!
In full pads.
So did anyone when you were doing it snap faster than you?
No.
Has anyone since then done the 5?
I don't think so. But I had a 500-pound bench, and I could pull.
Well, and
it helped me do all that. It helped me. That was all the muscles that it took to pull pull a ball and snap it.
And
I was made that way.
And
already.
also keep in mind, by the way, because I don't, you know the person's name, but you are considered the GOAT of long snappers.
Well,
Because but you've been called that, not just
Yeah.
me throwing it out and saying it.
I mean, yeah, the professional scouts at Combine, my friend Jed Smith from UNI sent me a couple of articles that they sent about a kid that was a long snapper that was taken into Combines, and they were comparing him to me. So I think you just read the article, right? I just showed you. I just got sent. And they compared me to Ray Guy. J.J. Jensen compared me to Ray Guy. So
In terms of how much superior you were to the others.
Yeah, I don't know if that is it, but I would.
Hey, stop being so modest.
I mean,
You set the standard.
You did.
You know,
You know,
when they ask
You
you,
are the
is
standard.
well, I'll take it. I mean, it's up to you guys because I never got to go to a Pro Bowl or anything else like that. They do that.
that's because back then
You couldn't do it back then.
they didn't.
have a position.
Yeah, they didn't. It wasn't even considered a position.
So yeah, it would go by Pro Bowls now if you were going to take somebody to the Hall of Fame. Let's say, I just think it would be how many Pro Bowls or how many times was he All Pro or whatever. We got a guy here right now with the Vikings that has been All Pro like twice.
Yeah, he's gotten the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I don't know.
But for Brady, you and I, we are in with two of the best ever to do it at their position. I mean, Chuck, nobody was as versatile as he was. He was the first of the great
No question.
use and multi-purpose running backs. And Mike he's the epitome of what every long snapper would want to be.
Well,
By the way, do you have that school yet? The long snapping school? You've done some.
I've got snappers.
You've got
Every
kids.
year I've had individuals.
But have you ever looked into opening a school, though, where they come
I
in?
had time and
Yeah, you
stepped
don't-
out of the weight room.
you're doing a lot.
To do that, I would want to have one every summer. If someone would do the logistics, I would. consider
Brady?
that.
He's a logistical kind of guy.
I mean, it'd be good money. I think someone out of Vegas has a pretty good one or two every year, and that's big money to those guys.
For the long snappers.
Long snappers, and I think it's punters and kickers, but I mean, it's based around long snappers.
You get kids coming from around the country just to long snap.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people all the time that their kid was, he's a high school lineman, and I tell them, you want to have your kid play in college, get him long snapping now, and learn how, and I've told them, get in touch with you. I mean, they just hear it, but I don't think they listen to it.
It takes a certain kind of parent that wants to spend the money to get it done and have their son trained that way and by the book and by the process. There's a process to it, progressions to learn how to launch.
But you don't have to be, the biggest, the strongest, or the best lineman on your team. If you can long snap, you're going to, after you left, the number of Vikings or guys that came through that was tight ends, linebackers. Yeah. They weren't all linemen. They just could snap.
Well, you had to have a lineman when I played
because of the
because you got hit. And so
now you don't.
Really a big safety. You try and block and set a pick for guys to go around and punt, release them down free, and then follow them down. And then on field goal PAT, you have to stay in there. You got to stay in there because they are like trying to shovel you up out of there and have a guy time to jump.
Yep.
And so right about when I got out of football in 2000, they started going to can't touch the long snapper. Right when I got out, can't touch the long snapper. Now they're smaller guys. You can get by with a new cover guy on the team. So they're not big anymore. But if you want to go pick up a specialty and you don't have speed like a wide receiver needs or a running back, then you want to pick up a specialty like long snapping if you're a lineman.
Well, tell people if they want to reach out to you to lift with you or lift it at your where you do it, and also if they want to learn, how do they get in touch with you? Do you have a website they can go to? Or
I really don't. It's been word of mouth and it fills up every year. But you can give me a call. I'll give you my number right now. I could care less. 612-239-7827, and that'd be to Milo Barbell Club, and then also the snapping. We'll take care of it out of Milo. The same thing. We'll get it done with that one number.
All right, terrific. And now we got to mention if Chuck's going to be out and about this weekend. You can meet Vikings legend Chuck Foreman March 29th, 2 to 4 at the Hy-Vee in Cottage Grove. Tailgate Spices sampling there, autographs, pictures. Get out there, get there early, get in line because Chuck it's getting that autograph from the best really the best multi-purpose quarterback of the 70s. I'd even go into the
running
8.
back.
Running back. What did I say?
Quarterback.
He can do it all, though. He's multi-purpose.
Hey.
Who you had to get into the 2000s. Danian Tomlinson, Marshall Faulk, they're the two that would have come closest
Roger
to you.
Craig.
Exactly.
Roger Craig was
Roger Craig.
Yeah.
And me, then Roger Craig, and then the other two.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Mm-hmm. That's pretty hitting. Hedger and James, maybe. No, he didn't catch like you.
Edge didn't catch a line, but Edge,
No.
What about
Edge can certainly
Tomlinson?
run.
Did Tomlinson do that?
Yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson.
He was good.
Yeah, so it's the four. Those are the
But
four.
I used to
That's
go.
the OG
I used to
right
go
there.
in the slot, and I used to go go outside. I played wide receiver slot and out of the backfield. So that's the difference.
One of my favorites of all time. No kidding. Sounds corny, but his poster was on my brother Pat in my bedroom ceiling.
There you go.
Well,
Carl Eller and Alan Page. Those are the only 3 Vikings we had up.
another reason to get involved with the Chuck Foreman cloning and the Mike Morris cloning rights.
Why not?
Just wet our beaks. All right, we'll take a quick break. The JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back.
On behalf of Vikings legend Chuck Foreman and Fox 9's Jim Rich, I'm Bob Sansevere, and I want to say thank you to all of our listeners and our radio partners, KXRA in Alexandria, KRWC in Buffalo, KDHL in Faribault and Owatonna, KDAL and WDSM in Duluth, WNMT in Hibbing, KTOE in Mankato, AM 660 The Bear, WBHR in St. Cloud, and Wild 102 FM in Roseau. Also, KWOA AM FM in Worthington, and KKBJ in Bemidji, and Bob Total Country serving the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. We'll talk to you later.